Today's topic is heavy. Who killed Bola Ige? How can BC Akonde, who worked so closely with Bola Ige, now be a cheerleader for Bola Ahmed Tinubu? I call it Tiwani Tiwa. The hypocrisy of Tiwani Tiwa is the main topic of my discussion today. I'll start it out with sound bites of Muyiwa Ige, Bola Ige's son, in an interview he had with Edmond Okilo on his superb TV station. And the reason I want to play you those sound bites to start is that at the end, you hear the full discussion with Muyiwa Ige. But I wanted to play those sound bites so that you have an idea who BC Akonde is and what BC Akonde is or should be to Bola Ige's legacy. And then you tie that to what BC Akonde has become relative to the drug dealer who is the president of Nigeria today. In essence, I'm saying, how could a man be so tied to Bola Ige, who is as close as you can liken to an angel, and then turn around to be a cheerleader for a drug dealer? It begs a lot of questions.
Who recounted?
Who recanted? The star witness, the security that I was paying.
Why did he change his mind?
Nigeria happened to him. In the sense that I had been told that they were trying to reach him at Alagmo. They said they wanted to put him under witness protection. And they put him in the same cell with the prime suspect. Does that make sense? So I gotten word that they were trying to reach him. And I said, okay, I called Chief Akonde.
That was Muyiwa Ige, Bola Ige's son. At the moment where he found out that they are trying to compromise the key witness in the killing of his father, and his default reaction was to call a man he saw as an uncle, the governor of Osun State when Bola Ige was killed, a good friend of Bola Ige. But today, Chief BC Akonde, the same BC Akonde, who this Muyiwa saw as Uncle BC Akonde, is now the main cheerleader for a drug dealer who is the president of Nigeria. That's Nigeria for you. Nigeria happens to the best of us.
The Minister of Justice did not get justice.
But he will, by the grace of God. He will.
You still believe justice will come?
Bola Ige's blood is... I thoroughly believe it. Capital punishment doesn't go away. There's no statute of limitation. Somebody will trip.
I think of my home, the home where I was born. I think of my family and the poor farmhouse we had. There in my home, we had no sophistication. We had no timepiece, the cockcrow and the sun, all we had. Rise early at sunup, we'd go to the farms, drive the monkeys away from the maize farms, and the birds away from the rice farms. Come back home at sundown, sometimes a little later. Women get busy on pounded yam, and we all eat together.
I'll bring in that prelude for the main purpose to dilute the bigots who are going to call me tribalistic instead of listening to my message. But let's face that prelude video from the 12th or 10th wedding anniversary of Hope Uzodinma, the governor of Imo State. The hypocrisy of Igbos, the hypocrisy of Igbos from Imo State, but Igbos in general. Because although there may be a majority of the people at that party may be from Imo because it was in Owerri, but the fact is there are Igbos from all over. Who doesn't know what Hope Uzodinma stands for in the struggle that Igbos are having today in Nigeria? Who doesn't know that Hope Uzodinma is the #1 cabal-pocketed Igbo that sabotages everything Igbos are trying to do to change the plight of suffering people in Igbo land? Who doesn't know that Hope Uzodinma is the chief architect of that? Who doesn't know that Hope Uzodinma has never won an election in Imo State, but he's a 2-term governor in Imo State? And the same people who cried and lamented about how this man got to power and how he's sabotaging every progress in Igbo land are the same Akpidis that are dancing with him, celebrating with him and his wife, and eating and whining and dining. When is it going to be time to sacrifice a little for the future of the unborn generation? When is it going to be time for these Akpidis that went dancing with Hope to boycott those kind of events and use it to send a message, not just to Hope Uzodinma, but to the rest of cabal-pocketed Igbos, the governors, the senators, the House of Rep members, the local assembly members, all of them. And even the 419ers and drug dealers that are getting very wealthy and infesting the region with useless values and corrupting the values of our young people, spraying money all over the place. And when is it gonna be enough of the nonsense and the shenanigans of showing off with wealth, stolen wealth? That prelude and what you see there is a disgrace to Igbo-ness. Celebrating in that fashion with Hope Uzodinma is a disgrace to every upright Igbo person. But with that said, let's now get into the Tiwa in Yoruba land and this concept that I see as standing on the mandate of Crooks, regardless of how they got successful at what they do and everything, standing on the mandate with crooks instead of fighting for the right values to create equity and fairness for everybody. Let's start out with Bola Ige.
Tonight I think of my home, the home where I was born. I think of my family and the poor farmhouse we had. There in my home, we had no sophistication. We had no timepiece, the cockcrow and the sun, all we had.
Yes, guys, I want to use Bola Ige's death and lack of investigation 24 years after he died. The Minister of Justice of Nigeria, who Nigeria did not give justice. Yorubas like to say Tiwani Tiwa, and every time I see the noise making about Tiwani Tiwa and all that stuff, I shake my head. Yorubas are people I love, and the Yoruba language and culture is something I went out of my way to try to understand. I'm not an expert on it, but as a non-Yoruba, I admire it so much, and I study it, and I like the people. But I also know the shenanigans that comes from that region. Tiwani Tiwa is the most misleading shenanigan that comes out of this region, because all this nonsense about Tiwani Tiwa is only Tiwani Tiwa when there is a selfish interest in it. And I'm going to spend a lot of time in this section talking about Chief Akonde. If any of you watched Muyiwa Ige's discussion with Edmond Okilo on Edmond's superb program that takes us down history lane, you see how highly Muyiwa Ige talked about Chief Akonde. I too, until I saw this video and sound bites I'm going to show you, also from Edmond Okilo's show, until I saw that video, I never knew I could say something skeptical about Chief Akonde. Akonde, former governor of Osun State, was a close friend and confidant of Bola Ige, which leads me to believe, since Bola Ige was one of Chief Awolowo's closest confidants in his generation, it also leads me to believe that Chief Akonde was also a disciple of Awolowo. How can a man who was a disciple, or who is a disciple of Awolowo and a close ally of Bola Ige, become a cheerleader of Bola Ahmed Tinubu? How do you compromise cheerleading for a drug dealer, an election rigger, an encourager of people being intimidated and denied from voting? How do you compromise Chief Akonde's alliance with Obafemi Awolowo and Bola Ige, with him cheerleading for Bola Ahmed Tinubu? And how do you compromise the stories we've heard surrounding the death of Bola Ige and Funsho Williams with Chief Akonde embracing Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And in his words, when I get to it, you hear him say that Yorubas went to Bola Ahmed Tinubu as their only hope. So Yorubas, instead of criticizing me, listen to Chief Akonde. Address your venom to him, not to me. I'm just a commentator that cringes when I hear bullshit. Listen to this.
I think of my home, the home where I was born. I think of my family and the poor farmhouse we had.
Tinubu is now the president.
Oh yes, he is.
You're happy, right?
That I have.
You're happy.
Oh, very happy. I instigated him. I encouraged him. I worked for it.
You instigated him.
Oh yes.
You told him go for it.
Oh yes. They called me. Somebody called me, come, oh, there is trouble. And I was in Lagos. What is the trouble? They say anybody that talks to him about presidency he was quarreling with them. Yoruba tradition, when you want to worship the deity, you take the fattest animal or the biggest yam to worship the deity. Yoruba wants to be president. And you are the one we have now. It is to sacrifice you so that we can have president.
If a 50 and under 419er or wuru businessman in Yoruba land said that, I could deal with it. And I may not even criticize them because, in fairness to the 50 and under, all they know is a crooked, corrupt Nigeria. Coming for an elder that's 80 years and over, saying that a drug dealer is the recognized fattest cow in Yoruba land, to go and represent Chief Obafemi Awolowo's Yoruba people, Bola Ige's Yoruba people. For all you bigots who want to call me tribalistic, that question is for you. Let's continue.
And you are the one we have now. It is to sacrifice you so that we can have president.
That's the concept of Tiwa from a Bisi Akonde standpoint. And that's where I think the concept of Tiwa is disgraceful. This concept of Tiwa should be dissociated from by any Yoruba person who thinks that their values are worth anything in gold. And if you're criticizing me for being hard on this concept of Tiwa, and you want to also sell yourself as a Yoruba person with values, there's a conflict in those two. This is food for thought. Folks, I don't come to patronize anybody. I come to state facts the way that I see them. If you disagree with me, come to my studio. Let's have coffee over it and talk about it in a civil way. The disgrace we saw celebrated with Ozodinma and the disgrace that Chief Akonde is spewing here, and the Igbos who support that disgrace that Ozodinma was celebrating, and Yorubas who support this concept that Chief BC Akonde is spewing are the problems we have in Nigeria, whether they are Igbos or Yorubas, it doesn't matter. Let's continue.
Some people thought NSAS was the end of Tinubu.
NSAS was aimed to be the end of Tinubu.
Did you say that?
Yes.
NSAS
Was designed to be the end of Tinubu.
Can you expatiate?
Those behind the NSAS knew that's what they were doing.
Who were those behind it?
The what do you call them? The obedience.
The obedience.
The obedience were behind the NSAS.
We're behind the NSAS.
Yes, it was manufactured from America, and so brought in just to stop him.
But who are the
I
obedience?
said the obedience.
So who are the obedience? So who are the obedience?
The obedience came from America to do the NSAS, and later became a movement to form a party, and they couldn't form a party and join whichever party.
You know, I thought obedience was tied to Peter Obi.
Well, maybe Obi's party, I don't know. Maybe Obi's movement, I don't know. But the obedience were behind the NSAS.
So it was well planned.
Planned, organized with a lot of money.
From America?
From America, yes.
As Mayegun's soundbite will say, nuisance lele yo. Nuisance lele yo. And as Chief BC Akonde continues to rain his unfounded praises on Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in this segment, he acclaims that under Bola Ahmed Tinubu, peace has returned to Nigeria. Listen.
Under APC, peace is coming to Nigeria, and the economy is becoming more stable.
Have you heard people screaming Ibimpami?
Come to my compound here, I will give you plenty of tomato, plenty of things to,
There's hunger in the land.
If you are lazy, if you are in Nigeria.
There's hunger in the land.
Chief Akonde now goes into Agbadonomics. Folks, I'm not trying to make light of this. Chief Akonde is an elder. So if you want to tell me what he's saying is okay, please tell me he's old and he's losing it. But if you're trying to tell me he's an elder who knows what he's talking about, may God bless you.
If you are lazy in Nigeria, a corn, just a seed of corn, put it on soil. In under 3 months, you have about 1,000 seeds. Nigeria, except lazy people.
Lazy people?
Yes. In Nigeria.
What he said there is that nobody should be hungry in Nigeria except lazy people. But these are the kind of leaders we have. And I'm used to these irresponsible elders. But I did not expect it from an elder who is a disciple of Chief Obafemi Awolowo and an elder who is a close ally of, may his soul rest in peace, Chief Bola Ige.
Buhari gave us the same excuse. Let's fix the economy. Jonathan came, let's fix the economy.
I don't know what they mean, but I know Tinubu is now fixing the economy.
And we are getting hungrier.
I don't know. If you are lazy, you will.
You are towing the Buhari line. Where Buhari called Nigerian youths lazy.
Honestly, what I mean is that he who does not work shall not eat.
They are working. There's no even job.
Oh.
There's unemployment. Inflation is more than 30%. Chief Akonde.
Look, come to my place in Ila. I will take you to my farm. I harvest.
Should I announce to the world that we should move to a loud Ogun to come and eat from your farm?
I only feed myself. I try to feed myself.
That's the sad state of elders in Nigeria today. And I'm sorry I'm picking on Chief BC Akonde. You have those kind of useless elders in Igbo land. You have them all over the Fulani land. You have them all over Nigeria. So what hope do we have if the people you expect to talk sense into the government become the biggest cheerleaders of the government? Now, let me go to the Bola Ige specific story. Now, listen to Muyiwa Ige talk about the day his father, Bola Ige, was killed in his bedroom.
How could anybody come in with a gun? Who? How? My father's house is a town hall, but it's a place where you can walk in and go to my father's bedroom. He'll talk to you. His house was a town hall. Every day, hundreds of people will come to the house just to meet with Uncle Bola. And so now all of a sudden, two guys in, not knowing if there were many outside, they cordoned us off into the room and then just realized that the security personnel were not here and my dad was isolated. What in the world is going on? My mom said, God bless her soul. She sat up and was talking to them. And your mommy, they sent us to come and kill you. About maybe 20 seconds later, that was a long time. Just a boom!
A gunshot.
So when I heard that, I'm thinking, maybe there's the security people that were not with us that had gone to hide somewhere and they had engaged whoever came in. Now keep in mind, there were two with us, right? Then about 5 seconds later, I just said, Mopo, let's go. And then I'm looking under the door and I was hearing my nephew and then my sister. So I called my nephew's name and I said, they've locked us in, open the door. And then he opened and I just said, Daddy. I just ran to my father's room. And then there's like an inner chamber before the main room. As soon as I made the turn, I just saw him on the floor. I was like, damn. Hey. And I'm thinking, how? So I looked at his eyes, just there like this. And I saw on the left side, there was a tissue coming out. I now looked at his nostrils and thought, okay, push this back in. Then started CPR. But I noticed that there was blood. I was like, okay. Crazy security personnel and the driver now came upstairs. Now in the meantime, they'd seen my sister down and told her that everybody was upstairs, including my dad. But we later found out they had come up, touched him, and went and stayed downstairs. If my sister had not come...
How did you find her?
Well, during the trial now.
They had come up.
The chief detail touched him.
And went back.
His principal.
And went downstairs.
Callous.
Without raising any alarm.
Zilch.
Who recounted?
Who recanted? The star witness, the security that I was paying.
Why did he change his mind?
Nigeria happened to him. In the sense that I had been told that they were trying to reach him at Alagmo. They said they wanted to put him under witness protection. And they put him in the same cell with the prime suspect. Does that make sense? So I gotten word that they were trying to reach him. And I said, okay, I called Chief Akonde.
He said, okay, call Chief Akonde. Do you know who Chief Akonde is? Chief B.C. Akonde, former governor of Osun State. The governor of Osun State when Bola Ige was killed. A good friend of Bola Ige. But today, Chief B.C. Akonde, the same B.C. Akonde, who this Muyiwa saw as Uncle B.C. Akonde, is now the main cheerleader for a drug dealer who is the president of Nigeria. That's Nigeria for you. Nigeria happens to the best of us.
I said, let's go to Alagmo. I'm the one paying his salary now. I was the one paying all my father's staff salaries when I came back. Like, okay, my brother, don't betray us. What's the issue? Okay, he needs to send money to his family. Okay, no. I gave him 250,000 naira, sir.
He saw the invaders when they walked in.
They slapped him upside the head now. Put a gun to his head.
So
He identified them at the, what do they call this? When you bring out the suspects.
He identified
Parade.
them.
Yes. He recanted. Ha! That's the end of the case. Your star witness where all the dots were now being plugged. I's were being dotted, T's were being crossed. You now throw the thing upside down. That you can't remember anybody again. Can you imagine? And in the meantime, the states, Lam Adesina had lost elections. It was Ladoja who was coming in, PDP government. So they had to dance to the tune. So they were preparing to file nolle prosequi, no case submission, on behalf of the state. And then that's what killed my mom. Read Akonde's My Participation. It's brilliant. Baba Akonde situated the character of his deputy and also said that Bola Ige told him that this one, his antecedents now. He cannot be your deputy. But at the time, it was the new greed.
The Minister of Justice did not get justice.
But he will, by the grace of God. He will.
You still believe justice will come?
Bola Ige's blood is... I thoroughly believe it. Capital punishment doesn't go away. There's no statute of limitation. Somebody will trip.
The concept of Tiwa is nonsense because Bola Ige is a significant Tiwa in Yoruba land. Funsho Williams is a significant Tiwa in Yoruba land. Many people in Yoruba land have used their tongues to count their teeth. And they have a good idea who killed Bola Ige and who killed Funsho Williams. But 20 plus years after both murders, the Yorubas who are so proud of their togetherness and how they protect each other and the Tiwa concept have done nothing to bring to bear to justice the people who killed Funsho Williams and Nigeria's Minister of Justice, Bola Ige, who did not see justice from Nigeria. That's why I say that Tiwa will remain nothing but lip service until elders start telling the truth again. Elders used to tell the truth in Yoruba land when Awolowo introduced the concept of Tiwa and popularized it. Today's elders are no longer worth Tiwa. All they care about is who brings out the money, even if the money is coming from drug dealers. On the mandate of Crooks, many now stand. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, this is Fred Nwankwo coming to you from our studios in Chicago with another edition of Bold Talk on Allen TV. And until next time, good night and God bless.
Tonight I think of my home, the home where I was born. I think of my family and the poor farmhouse we had. There in my home drive the monkeys away from the maize farms, and the birds away from the rice farms.